When was the last time that you were confronted with a difficult situation and you felt as if you had limited or no choices? Maybe you had one choice that was unfavorable and another choice that was even more unpleasant. Well, in reality, in any given situation, you have up to 5 choices, at least, that you can consider and that perhaps will change the trajectory of what you were dealing with and help you exercise greater agency and potential growth. I'd love to share those with you. My name is Miranda Walichowski. I am the principal and founder of Mirror New Coaching and Consulting, where we work with leaders and their teams to increase their energy, engagement, execution, so that they can have excellence. Before we explore those 5 choices that you have in any difficult situation, I want you to recall something that you are currently dealing with or have dealt with recently in the past. It could be a relationship issue, it could be a leadership issue, it could be something related to teaming or something within an organization. So once you recall that, keep that in mind as you explore the 5 different choices that you have in any difficult situation. Before we go into that, why is choice so important? Did you know that it is tied to the potential for growth and for freedom? There's a quote that I love, and I'm afraid I don't know who to attribute this to. Stephen F. Covey wrote about this quote, but couldn't remember where he learned it. Many people attribute it to Viktor Frankl, and yet others have seemed to have contributed to this construct. But here is the essence of it. Between a stimulus and a response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Very powerful words to consider, and quite a call for us to exercise our ability to reflect deeply and change the circumstances that we may find ourselves in and that may not seem favorable at the moment. What a call to action for exercising our ability to discern, to make a choice, and to execute on that choice. So let's look at the 5 choices that you have in any difficult situation. Choice number 1 is to remain a victim. Remain a victim to the circumstances. What happens here is you are using your energy not to change anything, but to endure, to cope, maybe to complain about where you find yourself. The outcome that you can expect is not much. The precedence has been set for what you are experiencing now in the present and what you can expect to continue into the future. Since nothing is changing, you can't really expect anything to change at all. So it doesn't seem like a very salubrious choice, but it is a choice that people have, remaining a victim. Choice number 2 is to avoid the challenge, either literally or figuratively, to walk away. And what is happening under this is that you are using your energy to literally or figuratively remove yourself from the situation, to sever ties. And what you can expect in this outcome could potentially be amazing. It could completely resolve the thing that you are struggling with and that issue that feels oppressive at the moment. Or what could potentially happen as well is that you just leave one situation and then recreate what you are experiencing somewhere else. It follows along with the saying that no matter where you go, you're always there. And so if there are things or habits or practices that haven't been resolved, then the potential to recreate those in just a different environment is a risk to be considered. But there is that opportunity and that choice to always walk away, to wash one's hands. I think of a Polish proverb, not my monkeys, not my circus. And so that always resonates with this choice as well. The 3rd choice that you have in any difficult situation is to change the situation. And what you will do here is you will use your energy to problem solve, to generate ideas, to create solutions, to experiment and implement those changes, and perhaps change the trajectory of what you are experiencing or dealing with. Now, it's very important here to get clear on what the problem is, the root of the problem. Where is it exactly that you are in reference to this problem? What is it exactly that you want to have or have happen in this problem? What are the barriers that are in the way from keeping you from already having that success that you want in this situation? And then a very clearly defined plan of what are you going to do about it to change the trajectory. So the outcome of this has lots of potential. Perhaps you will find growth in this situation as you lean into the challenge, and perhaps you will resolve the challenge beautifully or well enough so that you can keep moving forward with everything that matters and is important to you. So a very attractive choice, obviously. The fourth choice that you always have in any difficult situation is to change your perspective or to reframe. And so what you do here is you use your energy to explore different perspectives that you have not considered. It is pretty well known that when we approach a problem, we tend to use the same lens that we use for our outlook on most things, especially in regards to that problem. We don't generate different thinking, especially not our first solutions. And so we really have to make a concerted effort to see broader, to see differently, to see deeper. And so changing your perspective will allow you to do that. And what that looks like literally is exploring the issue from multiple angles, from the lens of various people that are involved in the situation. And what will that give you? That will give you the opportunity to generate even better thinking, better solutions that you haven't tried before, and that could potentially make the situation better. In terms of a reframe, something as simple as moving from this type of thinking, here we are dealing with a problem. Instead, what about if we didn't see this as a problem, but instead saw it as an opportunity? Immediately, there is an energetic shift around there. There is a desire to lean in because we all strive to grow and to be better. And so when we think of a situation as an opportunity to get better, to grow, then that's going to have a lot more favorable energy behind it than to see things in a negative light as a problem, as something that is overwhelming. So even a simple reframe in the words that you use can also greatly impact and change the situation that you are dealing with. The fifth choice that you have in any difficult situation would be to accept the situation. And by accepting the situation, it's very different from the first choice, which was to remain a victim. So in this situation, you are using your energy with discretion, and you are deciding to no longer invest energy in either trying to fix the issue or change the issue, but it is more from a lens of acceptance. So for example, if the situation is dealing with the way a certain individual is, realizing I don't have the power to change this individual. I can change how I show up or the boundaries that I set or the environment that I create to be able to deal with this individual better. I can do that, but no longer do I decide to invest energy in trying to change that individual. So that would be one example of acceptance. Another example would be maybe someone working in an organization where there's a lot of volatility and change occurring, or a startup. And thus, what happens there, there's a lot of ambiguity, miscommunication, initiatives change from one moment to the next, goals change from one moment to the next, etc. So acceptance in that situation would be to acknowledge the type of environment that one is in. And naturally, these things are going to be endemic to that situation. And therefore, it is better for me to just accept them and then decide, what do I need to do with that? So given the circumstances, what boundaries do I need to set? What processes do I put in place so that I can ensure success? Where do I invest my energy so that it actually has a good return on investment instead of wasting it potentially in various areas that could potentially change or that'll be futile. So that's an example of accepting the situation for what it is. And the outcome of that is going to be, once you decide that it's not in your purview to change the situation, to reframe the situation, to leave the situation, it is simply to accept it is what it is, and now what? is that you are going to be able to then focus on what is important instead of expending energy in so many other areas that, again, may not generate a solution. So there you have it. 5 choices that you have in any difficult situation, whether it's relational, leadership related, teaming related, organizationally related. You have 5 choices that you can explore. I'd like to invite you to look at those and select 2 or 3 that are viable contenders for you, and explore what the advantages and disadvantages would be for pursuing that path and what would it look like. And then opt for one. Lean in and see it through its execution. I think you'll be surprised at the agency that you have in this. Again, choice is so important. In reality, where you are at this given moment is a product of all the choices that you've made in your life. And so choice does matter. Choice does create a different future. So thank you for being here. Be well, and until the next one.